Waiting now for Calla Lagoon in the Juddmonte colours, worn by Ross Orion for their Spoodles Rain Dance D Stakes listed race over a mile and a quarter. Another classic trial coming up here at Chester, and they're off. And just a little slow to go was High Stock. Trails early in the hands of Oisin Murphy, who tries to get him into contention up the inside and is doing so. The horse responding. Isambard Brunel going on from Calla Lagoon and Mount Kilimanjaro, and then High Stock. Out very wide, Great David, who's racing freely and looks as though Tom Marquarmont's a piece of the action and may cut across to lead here. Great David from Isambard Brunel. Then Calla Lagoon in third, followed by High Stock round the inside of Mount Kilimanjaro. Hot Shot behind these, and finally Mirabeau. Well, passing the stands at the pace looking pretty strong, and Great David is sent into the lead here and forcing it from Isambard Brunel. Then High Stock on the inside of Calla Lagoon. Mount Kilimanjaro, will Ryan Moore content seemingly to let them get on with it, followed by Hot Shot and Mirabeau as they run left-handed now. And still Great David out in front by a length and a half to Isambard Brunel and William Buick in second. High Stock round the inside, recovered from a slightly slow start. Then Calla Lagoon in the pink cap, black sleeves of Hot Shot. Mount Kilimanjaro with the white blaze, and Mirabeau at the tail of the field. Heading down the back straight now on towards the final half mile. And up ahead is Great David by a length and a half to Isambard Brunel. High Stock's on the inside. They're followed then by Calla Lagoon and Hot Shot and Mount Kilimanjaro. Just nudged along Mount Kilimanjaro. And Mirabeau still at the rear of the field inside the three in the Boodles Rain Dance D Stakes. And Great David has really served it up to them here under a very positive ride. In second, Isambard Brunel going second now. High Stock, Isambard Brunel beginning to feel it. Calla Lagoon is staying on with Hot Shot. Mount Kilimanjaro is making a few inroads now, but still with plenty to do as they race down the straight. Great David taken on by High Stock. Mount Kilimanjaro now making relentless progress down the outside. It's High Stock that took it up. Here is Mount Kilimanjaro, and Ryan Moore absolutely thrusting home on the near side. Mount Kilimanjaro getting up. Another for O'Brien and Moore. Mount Kilimanjaro wearing down High Stock from Great David back in third, and then Calla Lagoon.
Oh, sensational from Ryan Moore there on Mount Kilimanjaro. Seb, I'm coming to you first because it was a joy to watch that with you, because you were convinced Ryan was going to win when it almost looked like Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, you know, as they were going, you know, just going past the two, you just thought High Stock would just go and, you know, put the race to bed. But you could just see Ryan starting to get a tune out of Mount Kilimanjaro just here. He gives him a couple of backhanders, and away he goes. And, you know, when it comes to hitting the line, this horse has got plenty of class. I mean, well played to High Stock, ran an absolute super race, but Mount Kilimanjaro has got that little bit of class.
Honestly, that was just sensational from the saddle. And Seb, if you're a young apprentice wanting to model yourself on anyone, it's difficult to copy, but that was brilliant.
It's something we've seen over the last 2 days with you know, the Ballydoyle horses. They want to get that position, but they get a bit, you know, they get them to relax, and sometimes they switch off a little bit too well.
So you called this perfectly, in that we'd spent this afternoon saying this is where Ryan always wants to be in these races, position 2B, i.e. one back and one off the rail and control the race from that second point. But he doesn't want that point here. As Seb identified beforehand, this is a bit of a hot horse to be playing that game with, and therefore William Buick has been tasked with doing exactly that, so Ryan can slot in behind. So our experience of watching that race was coloured by Seb. Brilliant punditry from Seb to identify that.
And you noticed the maturity as well of Isambard Brunel.
Yeah, he just looked like you know, I wouldn't say he looked unfit or anything, but he looked like he'd improve an absolute ton for the run, and you know, it played out a bit like that. But you know, it was interesting watching that horse at Kilimanjaro go round the paddock and then realising they might not just be as forceful with this horse today.
So this is the brilliance of Ryan now, that we're seeing the different strands to his riding, because the beauty of yesterday is that he was in complete control of those races in his spot. Here, he's a little bit out of control, but by purpose, because he's having to ride the horse and not just ride the race. And look at where High Stock is. High Stock has got first run on him and is powering up, but now it's about strength and balance an understanding of what you've got and when to play it, Seb.
Yeah, and you know, and because Ryan had just dropped out a little bit and got the chance to get the horse relaxed, and he might probably just over-relaxed a little bit, but when he asked him and gave him a couple behind the saddle, away he went, and he's ran down a pretty decent horse. I think that was a really good race.
You know, you're right. You two both loved High Stock in the paddock as well, as did Haley, and that's a really good horse in the making, that, isn't it?
Very good horse. He was a bit slow to get going as the gates opened, but he was soon in a decent sort of position, I felt.
He had the plum seat all the way around. Everything was happening in front of him. And the thing is, when horses started dropping away, it made Ozzy Murphy's job very, very easy round a very difficult track. No excuses that he got beat today, but I think he's got beat by a very decent horse, and I imagine they'll go to the French Derby with this now.
With the winner.
With the winner, yeah.
And the second could be a Royal Ascot type, couldn't he?
Yeah, he'd definitely be a Royal Ascot type. Andrew Balding brought a once-race maiden winner here before, Fox Chairman. Remember Fox Chairman, who finished second in this race? But this High Stock, the Grand Dam was called Shiva in the Niarchos colour. She was a half-sister and a light shift. And Shiva's first three runs were, won a Kempton Maiden, won the Earl of Sefton, won the Tattersalls Gold Cup. Those three runs were brilliant, a starting point, and this horse has inherited that early brilliance.
Yeah, wow. I mean, what a pedigree line that is. But, do you know, you expect it from the top jockeys. We expect it from all jockeys, but as quick as Ryan was to pull that stick through, it was like lightning.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he used it in his right hand to begin with because he was favouring his near side lead. But when he pulled it through, it was because he was going to get close to High Stock, and he wanted to make sure there was no interference and no excuses at the line. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of young jockeys should watch that and watch how Ryan uses his core to steer the horse as well.
Do you know, Alex, we're lucky to be in the age of Ryan Moore, but you at home are lucky to have Seb Sanders as a pundit as well, because he called that at every single stage perfectly.
Yeah, certainly did. Well done to Seb. Well done to this horse, Mount Killaman, Jaro, and to